All right. Hey, team. I think I'm up and running. So give me a check in here to see if that is true. We'll kick through an intro here real quick and then we'll get to work. So mic check, mic check. 1, 2. Holy hand. Yep, that mic check's coming through loud and clear. So let's drive that out of view. About an hour or so this morning to play. Click that over here. Burp. Burp. And we're going to do some social media posting here real fast. And hey, what's up, folks? My name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games. I illustrate them and I publish online. And I create content for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition in the Eberron campaign setting. We're creating an adventure. You can see it here on the screen, the book cover. Crystals of Mabar. It's for 7 to 8 characters, a level 4 or 5. Interestingly enough, the amount of experience points that a character needs to get from 7th to 8th level, from 7th to 8th level is the same amount, basically with like 100 experience points, the same amount of experience points that you need to get to from level 8 to 9. 4 8th level characters is the same amount of experience point that 5 7th level characters need. So it's really easy to pace an adventure in the mid tiers like that because the amount of experience points in the encounter builders is so close. So we're doing play testing for the martial power system in a mega dungeon right now, but we'll be ramping that through 10th level, and we should be at level 7 by the time the new monster manual comes out. So we'll be able to make sure that in the dungeon we're running, that the levels that we have are matching up appropriately with the new creature development that happens. And if we need to tweak it, I'm building the thing so I can tweak it. But we've done a lot of playtesting for the adventure in general. The structure works, which is the most important part, because the DM can always change the intensity of challenges that you face along the way. So that's the easy part. It's just building out all the structure and making the narrative work so it's fairly bulletproof. That's difficult. Hey, here on YouTube, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications of when we're live in the future. Here's a bunch of books I've already published on DMsGuild. Here's the full playlist of all 385 episodes to date. And without further ado, let's keep it up. So the tree's looking good. We're now working specifically on the... I'm going to drop that volume a little bit more. We're working on the lighting for the squatters. So once those are done, the trees basically, we'll just do some foreground foliage and we'll be done. So let's just zoom in here and let's get after it. So I'm going to take this, duplicate it, merge this group, and then drop that out of view and relabel this left. There. Cool. And let's just keep at it. So let's see. If I think I've got my home table playing D&D today. And if that is the case, I will not be here at lunch today. Instead, I should be here on Wednesday. So my schedule this week, therefore, is 1 second. So yeah, we're streaming right now. We'll be back on Tuesday morning to continue streaming artwork. We'll be at Tuesday lunch to work probably on the Bastion system some more. We're making some real headway in that project. And let's see, Wednesday morning, more Eberron. Wednesday, I might be here for Wednesday lunch. Something's telling me that my lunch might get scuttled. So I don't know if I'll be here or not, but I'm planning to be. And then Thursday morning we'll be here, and then Thursday night we'll do our Thursday night design stream. Friday morning we'll be here. Friday afternoon we'll be here at lunchtime, and then Saturday lunch, our Saturday brunch stream for a few hours. So that's my expected schedule this week. I will be continuing working on Eberron. It's possible, I don't think we're going to get it done today, but it's possible we could have this done tomorrow. And once we do, we'll just be moving on to the next piece. We made some progress over the weekend. I got another 3 pages done. I think I'm down to 48 pages left in the actual adventure, and then we need to wait for the monster manual to come out for us to make sure the monster descriptions that we have in the appendix of new monsters, I will make sure those are straight. So we got a little bit of time of us messing around before we have the next chunk of 2024 content produced. I like the folds we have going on here. I just need to make sure. I want to try to stay within proper anatomy. I'm sculpting stuff around. I put it all in the one layer for the fun of it. A lot of times I leave the detailing process like this in separate layers and then bind them after I'm content with the final piece. But something told me just to go ahead and do this, so this is what I'm doing. I think I want to put a larger block of dark foliage behind here to help frame all of this better. Something. That'll probably be good. Let's drop down here and grab some foliage. All right, the next question is, what the hell is going on with that foliage right there? Yeah, that feels better. And then let's grab this eraser and blow that out and tap away at some of this. Tap away there. Is this doing what I need it to do? Let's drop the opacity a bit. Gonna lighten that a smidge. And then let's drop some darker here. Yeah, that arm feels too big. Let's drop that down. I'm okay with that for the time being. It's helping frame the lighting a little bit better, so I'm good with that. This arm, though, needs to be adjusted. There. Merge that down, blend that in, and we're good to go. This elbow here curves down to the top of his ribs here. Hand curves down to just underneath his butt. Okay, that's good. That feels good. Let's straighten this out. Let's just move his arm out of the way right now. I'm just gonna delete it. Because I like that posture, but I don't think the limb is correct. So I'm going to float the limb in a separate layer here in a minute. I just want to get this this navel gaze correct. Let's grab up this leg. Cut, paste. Hey, timely timer. Not used to the angle, but I like the composition, so I'm willing to struggle with it. Man. Here. And here. There we go. Man. Yeah, so the gatehouse is done. Off screen, let's see. We've got Marshall Powers playtesting tonight at 5:30 till 9. So I don't have a lot of time to work on page layouts tonight. That is A-okay. Okay, cool. That feels pretty good. Playtesting is such an important part of game design. Aside from just mechanics and seeing if people grok it, you got to see if it's fun. Like if it's not fun, why bother? And then from there, you wanna see game flow and like how is using whatever it is that you're doing, how is that working out? Is there something that's broken here? Like just inside the game itself is what you're trying to do. Does it break the game? And if it does, is what's worth salvaging so that you are willing to invest the time for it to not be broken anymore. Let's get 100% eraser here. That's gonna help a lot. I don't need to work on clothing texture in here yet, although having it Establish for the boots is a great idea. Let's get that outline there. You know, I love doing color work, and I'm proud that I can. But I think one of the things is gonna be a big level up for me when I start doing Kickstarters is being selective about what color I use. I think I'm gonna drop into probably if I'm going. I know that Kickstarters want print products, and for me to be able to print, I can't use color because I don't see color, so I can't proof. I can't proof any of the work that I do, which is why I generally stay in the digital medium, because I don't have to worry about CMYK color profiling, and if there was something wrong. If there was something wrong, I wouldn't know it, and if I found out, I wouldn't know how to fix it. So that color in print has just always been terrifying to me. People that don't see color have issues with color. So it's not our, we don't naturally swim. You throw us into the pool of water, we sink like a rock. So I've managed to figure out how to tread and to doggy paddle around the pool a little bit, but I will never be a master of color, and I'm content with that. You gotta know when to hold them, when to know when to fold them, right? And I've had a pretty good hand here, so I think my broader future is probably going to be in little system agnostic dungeon designs and D20 light systems. I'm getting all this heavy crunch out of my system working in 5e, and I love 5e. It's such a great game engine, and all the IPs that I love are owned by Wizards, which is 5e, so that locks me in pretty hard to doing 5e content, potentially perpetually, but I also aspire to build tools outside of the 5e sandbox, or outside of the 5e toolbox, I guess, as it were. So I'm basically doing all the things that I want to do in 5e, and once I've finished doing all those things and I'm content, then I can take all the things that I've learned in constructing complicated mechanics in 5e and apply those skills to simplifying for system neutral games, D20 light games on Kickstarters. And I am really, really excited about that. The old martial arts adage is slow makes smooth, smooth makes fast. You don't want to work on being fast. You want to work on being smooth. And so it is my aspiration and hope that when I get to the end of this 5e pipeline, I will have that smooth production. And we'll be able to create some really, really cool D20 tools. We made some great progress on the Bastion system on the Saturday brunch stream, resolving resource management and how to fold resources into the orders that you can give to your Bastion. That is resolving surprisingly well. I mean, we spent a good year building downtime mechanics that are directly applicable to what we're doing in the Bastion system right now. So I've had literally a year of cooking time prior to the Bastion system coming out. And then I was like, oh, okay, I see what you guys are doing here. And then it was easy for us to convert what had already been what we had already been building for Guilds and Kingdoms into just basically redux it into Bastion. Where is the end of this fucking branch? Jesus. I see ya. Thank you. Looking forward to tonight's mega dungeon. God willing, we're gonna have at least 3 people showing up to play because I want to keep moving. I want to keep moving the dungeon forward. I'm building it basically in 10-room chunks, and my goal. I don't want to get too far ahead of the characters because I want to make sure that the content that I produce is going to be relevant to the story that's slowly emerging from the simple, just from the simple act of exploring the dungeon and poking at things. We get to see how the dungeon pokes back and what kind of monsters are randoming up and wandering encounters more often. And so there's a fun process that goes into basically allowing a dungeon to emerge. The literal part of the emergent gameplay. I am a big fan of that emergent style of storytelling. So, from a DM perspective, obviously the playtesting. I love seeing the power system being used and like what's breaking about it. Every time we run a game. There's something that we find like this is working, this needs to tweak. We get affirmations of which direction to go, and that feels amazing. So playtesting is 100% worth its weight in gold. And if you aren't if you're building stuff and you aren't playtesting, what the fuck are you doing? Like the only reason you should be building stuff is because you think it's fun to play. It's unless you just want to churn out like profit, but that has debatable results. But I'm the tools that I build, the things that I publish, is because those are things that I actually want in my game or I'm already using. If it's something I'm already using and it turns out to be really cool, I want to share it. So then I'll build it into a product and say, hey, here's something I've been using. This really works, like the color mana system that I have, or Spelljammer. And or it's something like I want this in my game, so let's build those tools and see if it adds value. Like the Guilds and Kingdoms, squads and army mechanics that we've been building. Those are things that I had cherished in BX and 2nd edition that slowly dropped out in 3rd edition. That wasn't present in 4th edition that I want to reclaim for 5th edition, because that Dominion style of play where you amass not only the Bastion but also an army to wield as a weapon to increase the scale of your campaigns. That's like the actual goal of Dominion play in the old school sense of it, which has been stripped away and kind of relegated to a social encounter conversation sort of thing with your DM. So I want to bring the game back to so much of this game. Here's the thing. What's inspiring me to do it is the WotC books that are published. It's like, I like this. Here's what you could have done with it too. And then riff off of it. Like that's what the DMsGuild is literally for. Like the ideas that we published, go ahead and riff off of them. Here's a space to do so. Give us some coin. Homage to the inspiration, which I am happy to pay the coin. like the martial power system came about because of Strixhaven, a Magic the Gathering setting, thus color magic is enabled. But the school is only for spellcasters. Like, what's a barbarian supposed to do at Strixhaven? It's just like you're kind of waste. You should go hunt things or something. This place is wasting your time. But I wanted to make Strixhaven an environment where every student, regardless of what their class choices are, would value being a student there. So since it's Magic the Gathering, it doesn't have to be about, like, Wizards does spellcasting because they're trying to take the idea of Strixhaven and convert it into a Harry Potter experience for 5e gamers. And what I want to do instead is lean into the idea that they own the Magic the Gathering IPs and that they used it to make the Strixhaven setting. So I think it should be about, not so much about learning how to cast spells. You already know how to do that when you come through the door at first level. That's not an actual accurate, like, the school doesn't have an actual purpose mechanically from a ludo-narrative mechanic perspective where the narrative of the game is reflected in the mechanics. You're showing up and you're already a spellcaster. So what is Arcavios, actually, the Strixhaven school? What's that actually doing for your character? If you already know how to wield magic, it's basically just a big library, I guess, for you to rack up experience so that you can gain more levels. Nothing about your character progression is built into Strixhaven. Nothing about spellcasting is built into Strixhaven. Nothing about becoming a spellcaster is built into Strixhaven. It's just you're a spellcaster and now you're in school. And Bob's your uncle. Like, that's the depth of where they've gone with it. I want to add depth. So I want to make it about learning how to control the mana that your character has access to. And the martial power system allows us to have characters, all 13 character classes, using mana as a resource. Like, Barbarian has mana, Wizard has mana, Monk has mana, Sorcerer has mana. It's mana, 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 mana everywhere. So many different ways to use your mana as a character class or as monsters. How can we make better use? How do we make using mana better? How do we learn to make mana our resource, to own our resource, to become more powerful characters? That's what Strixhaven becomes. If all characters have mana, then the school becomes about better using your mana, learning how to control your mana pool, learning how to regain your mana. Stuff like that. So we could even, like, once that Martial Powers book comes out, we can start really going into some fun mana mechanic ideas. Like since all 13 classes will be able to use mana as a resource, then we can just start making mana an intrinsic part of all characters. So we can start doing mana resources for racial features. So, like, if you're like for example, now the Goliath, for instance, can become large once, I guess, per long rest for 10 minutes. Well, we can turn that into a concentration mana effect, or for a higher mana cost, a single use effect. Like, you get it for free once a day, but then we can have it, like, for 2 points, you can reuse it again for 3 points. Like, for 1 point, you can use it again and have to maintain concentration to do so. Maybe, like, for 2 points, you can do so, but don't have to maintain concentration for X amount of time. Stuff like that. Like, there's different ways to bend the system around to use the mechanics, and each race will help us start to develop more consistent language about how to do so. And then Arcavios becomes a center of mana research. And I think that fits the theme of what the campaign setting is setting out to do, and it's a way to actually express it in 5e mechanics. Right now we're sculpting folds in fabric. So far, so good. How are we doing on time? Cool. Still got 20 minutes. Starting to feel the staleness in this piece. I want to finish it up before it goes cold on me. But luckily, character art and the environment are separate processes. Like we did the tree, and now we're working on the squatters in the tree. That should finish up the composition. I don't know what our time is going to be like. Again, we got the martial power system tonight that we're going to be doing the mega dungeon with. So I'm not sure 100%. I don't want to have that collar curving around his neck too much because it'll kill the foreshortening effect. I don't need to be this nitpicky. I can probably get away with less minging about in the details. But I want to make sure that I want to make sure I'm happy. The angle is weird, so the way that the foreshortening works and the angle of the anatomy is different from what I'm used to working with. So this is a worthwhile endeavor for me to explore this. I'm pretty happy with the results. Just need to smooth this out a little bit. Considering the level of detail, that's pretty fine. There, that feels pretty good. That. There's an arm in here, and I'm just not sure how much of it's going to actually be visible. Let's grab some of these darker bits here. That's basically how that sleeve is going to work. Go down here. Bring this hip around here. That's going to get concealed by the leg. But I want to have it present so we know how the fabric folds. Like that, see? And I can just drag, smudge and drag this all out here into the next space. Oh man, I saw the Borderlands movie over the weekend, and Jesus Christ, how the fuck did they get Cate Blanchett to do that? Kevin Hart, that makes sense to me. What? Is this like some sort of a blood payment that Blanchett had to perform? Like to appease her dark god or something, because that movie was not good. I am shocked to have Cate Blanchett in that movie. Like, what is going on? It didn't have a lot of redeeming qualities. I don't really recommend the movie. Yeah, there you go. No idea. It looks like we have enough people for Martial Powers tonight, so I am thrilled. We have the minimum 3 necessary, and hopefully we'll have a 4th or maybe even 5th person show up. Unlikely, but 4 is possible. I don't think I have enough active roster for 5 players right now. So if you've seen the Martial Power playtesting stuff that we've been designing for here on stream at lunchtime in the evening over the past year, then you know what I'm talking about. And if you're interested, if it's piqued your interest, then tweaked. If it's tweaked your interest, you are most welcome to participate. It's 5:30 till 9 Pacific time on Discord using Roll20. It's just vocal. I'm not recording or publishing it. Yeah, there you go. There, here. Yeah, shoulder's feeling kind of mucky. But it's probably good enough. So I'm going to let it sit. Let's just let it sit before I overcook. What's the risk of cooking too long? And the thing's going to burn. There. That feels right. I like that angle. That feels good. Like that. There we go. There, looking good. How are we doing on time? I feel like there's a timer that's happening here somewhere. 10 minutes. 40 minutes. All right, we got 20 minutes. I'm putting 20 minutes on the block and we'll be done for the day. Grab myself a swig of water. Let's chase it with some coffee. Fresh. All right. We're having some fun now. There we go. I like those folds, man. Those folds are sitting pretty. It's always tricky doing a crotch shot or a nasal gaze. I think this one's panning out. There we go. Barvo. And for now, I'm just pushing this out just to make sure I have the hip joint space. And then we'll be able to drop the leg back in. See, but it feels, see, now it feels off. So this was valuable because I knew there was something wrong with that leg, but I couldn't figure it out until I got the underpinning anatomy correct. And now that we're getting that to feel good, we can make the leg work as intended as well. So there's that. That looks pretty good. Let's get this pushed up into here. So it fades away. I think I want to break that. Make that fade down too. Have it line there. That feels good. There, now that silhouette stands out really cleanly. Now I probably want to drop in a little bit of darkness back here, just to control that silhouette a little bit better. But I like where we're at. Yeah, okay, let's let that sit for now. Let's work on his face a bit. What I'm gonna do, let's duplicate this layer so I can muck around with this guy's head without regret. Let's get this outlined so that we know. So we have a finite space that we know, because we're just gonna smudge past the outline eventually anyway. Let's grab here. What is going on? Thank you. Oh man, I just got crazy hungry. I don't really eat much on Sundays. So Monday comes around and I'm pretty damn hungry on a Monday. Yeah, let's drop all this in here like that. Well, it is a little low on his head, actually. This should be more like here and probably a little smaller. There. That's all the detail I really need on the ear. Let's muck that up here a bit. I want to be mindful of the structure. What'll happen, what tends to happen is I get fixated on making the anatomy right, which kills the composition or the. So if the composition is built around bad anatomy, you got a problem, because to make your composition work, you have to have bad anatomy, and you have to keep the bad anatomy to keep the composition. So when you're making a composition, you need to make sure that the anatomy that you use is accurate, but you have to have you have to keep the feeling that you had had from the crappy anatomy. That has to survive the correction process. So it still feels good and has correct anatomy. That is a challenge. sitting here with my mouth open like a fucking mouth breather. Oh God, that feels so good. There. There. That's not looking bad. I'm liking it. That's not looking bad at all. Let's fix that nose. Just a bit there. There. Add in some lighting there. Let's get a proper border there with the line art. I feel like my time is almost done. Hey, my time is almost done. I was right. I like how this guy looks. He's got a world of worries on his mind. There's undead down there. They ate his friend. That's the story. That's the story that's going on in this picture. We're gonna have a snap branch. We're gonna have one person missing. The context is opposing goals up in a branch. Up in a tree. That's the name of the of this encounter. Yeah, that guy looks really good. I'm happy. I'm happy with that. Actually, very happy with that. So let's dump him in the trash drawer. Let's bring this leg back in, right? And that now feels like about the right angle for this. I'm going to curve it just a bit more. There, that's not bad. Nice. So now we have the angle back a little bit. We have the proper. Anyway, it's there. So now I have the space for the arm to sit in here and to drape across here, like I wanted here, and then here. That's his arm can sit like that now. So nice work. Someone's gonna have to be behind the leg, and then the forearm, wrist, and hand will have to be like around here. That's working out. So fuck yeah, dude. All right, we're gonna need another day. Probably we're gonna need maybe like a half hour or so figuring out that arm. But I want to get into his companion, whoever she is. And then we have the, in the end, we have the broken branch here that we'll want to finish fleshing out so it looks, good. There we go. All right, cool. That's it. I'm going to bounce out of here. Yeah, it's 8 o'clock. It's time for me to bounce. Later, guys. I'll be back. I'll be on my Discord channel tonight at 5:30 doing playtesting in the Roll20 environment. It looks like we have at least 3 people that are going to be participating today, so we are good to go. I'll be back tomorrow morning to continue this. We'll be back at lunch tomorrow to work on Bastion, and then we'll be here on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday morning. We're continuing and probably finishing this piece. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, we'll have our lunch times working on Bastion. Thursday night, we'll be working on Bastion. And then Saturday morning, we'll have our brunch stream, which probably also be Bastion. I really want to make a run at that Bastion system, get it up and running for folks, put on DMsGuild. I've got a lot of artwork that I can dump into it already, so I think there's a lot of potential there. Yeah, so that's it. I'll see you guys on the other side. Thanks a lot. Like, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Laters.